The Courthouse Fugitive. The story of Brian Nichols, a normal man, or so it seemed. Before March 2005, Brian Nichols seemed like many other young men trying to make sense of a difficult life. He was born in Baltimore, Maryland, and raised in a strict household. Church on Sundays, rules, discipline, sports. He was smart, athletic, and often called a gentle giant. But behind that calm exterior was a storm waiting to break. After college, Nichols moved to Atlanta. He had dreams of success, but life didn't go as planned. He struggled with relationships, job stability, and eventually found himself in trouble with the law. In 2004, he was accused of raping his ex-girlfriend, a charge he denied, but one that changed the trajectory of his life. The trial that never happened. On the morning of March 11, 2005, Nichols was scheduled to appear in Fulton County Superior Court for jury selection in his rape trial. Wearing a white shirt and blue slacks, he was escorted by Deputy Cynthia Hall to a holding cell near the courtroom. But what happened next would shock the entire country. While in the holding area, Nichols somehow managed to overpower Deputy Hall. He beat her brutally, took her gun, and left her unconscious. He then disguised himself in her clothes and slipped into the courtroom with murder on his mind. Blood in the courthouse. With the stolen gun in his hand, Nichols burst into courtroom 8D and opened fire. He shot and killed Judge Roland Barnes and court reporter Julie Ann Brandow. As he exited the courthouse, he also killed Sergeant Hoyt Teasley, who tried to stop him. Within minutes, the building descended into chaos. Officers rushed to lock down the area. Reporters began swarming the courthouse. The public, still traumatized by past tragedies like the DC sniper, watched in horror as news of a courtroom massacre unfolded live on TV. The manhunt begins. Nichols didn't stop there. Outside the courthouse, he carjacked several vehicles and evaded law enforcement in a citywide chase. He made his way to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution building and took another man hostage before disappearing once again. As the manhunt intensified, schools locked down, streets were gridlocked, police set up checkpoints. FBI, U.S. Marshals, and every law enforcement agency in Georgia were on the hunt. Nichols had become the most wanted man in America, the unknown hostage. What most didn't know was that Brian Nichols had taken a final hostage. Late that night, he broke into the Duluth apartment of a young woman named Ashley Smith, a 26-year-old widow and recovering meth addict. She had just bought cigarettes at a convenience store when Nichols forced her back into her apartment at gunpoint. What unfolded over the next 7 hours was something no one could have predicted. Not fear, not violence, but a strange, tense calm between captor and hostage. The angel in the apartment, Ashley Smith, terrified yet composed, talked to Nichols like he was human. She read aloud from The Purpose-Driven Life, a book by Rick Warren. She told him about her late husband, her daughter, and her struggles with addiction. In those early morning hours, Nichols opened up. He told her about his son. He told her he believed the justice system had failed him. He admitted to killing people, but insisted he wasn't a monster. Ashley listened, prayed, and slowly gained his trust. By sunrise, Nichols allowed her to leave to go pick up her daughter, she claimed. Instead, she called 911. The arrest? Police swarmed the apartment complex. Nichols, exhausted and perhaps resigned to fate, surrendered without a fight. It was a peaceful end to a violent 26-hour rampage that left 4 people dead and an entire city shaken. As he was led away in handcuffs, people breathed a sigh of relief. But they also asked, how did this happen? How did a man in custody for rape manage to kill a judge, a court reporter, a deputy, and take a city hostage? The trial and the costs. Brian Nichols was indicted on 54 counts, including murder, kidnapping, armed robbery, and escape. Prosecutors sought the death penalty. His trial took years to begin, costing Georgia taxpayers over $3 million, one of the most expensive in state history. In 2008, after a grueling trial, Nichols was found guilty on all counts. He avoided the death penalty after a deadlocked jury, but he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Justice was served, but not without controversy, grief, and lessons. Ashley Smith's redemption. Ashley Smith became a symbol of calm in chaos. Her courage and composure turned her into a national figure. She wrote a book, Unlikely Angel, and later saw her story turned into a film starring Kate Mara captive. She said her encounter with Nichols helped save her life, just as much as she may have helped save his. She turned away from meth for good, reunited with her daughter, and found peace in faith. Her story was the light in one of Atlanta's darkest chapters. The man behind the monster, Brian Nichols, remains behind bars at Georgia Diagnostic and Classification Prison. In interviews, he has shown remorse, confusion, and at times, bitterness. Some see him as a broken man failed by the system. Others see a manipulative killer who knew exactly what he was doing. His story is one of tragedy, not just for the lives he took, but for the life he wasted. A man who once had potential became a symbol of lost control and unchecked violence. The courthouse shootings of 2005 are a chilling reminder of how quickly things can unravel, and how even in the darkest moment, one person's calm voice and a simple book can change the course of a nightmare.